Well, hello and welcome to Knife Delights. It's time for another Two for Tuesday, that easy open tag that I invite all channels to participate in. Just grab a couple of knives or compare two different styles of knives. Just have a two theme to your video. It's a fun and easy video to put together. So I thought today what we'd look at here is the differences between the Buck 301, which is the USA made Buck Stockman, versus the Buck 371, which is made in China. They are awful similar, pretty much got the same specs to them, but there are a few minor differences. I guess other than place of origin and where they're made, the biggest difference here, well, one is price, and we'll get to that, but the other is the blade steel. On the ones made in China, they come with a, what was it here? 420J2 steel. 420J2. And of course the USA made uses Buck standard 420HC. Now the blade thickness on the Chinese made, or on the 371, is slightly larger. It comes in at 0.07, and on the US made it is 0.06 hundredths of an inch. So we put them together like that. It is ever so slight. You really can't tell the difference. And then the 371 looks like it comes in at 3.1 ounces, and I believe the 301 comes in at 2.9 ounces. So just very slight differences there in a couple of the specs. As far as price wise, now I always use MSRP. So off the Buck's website, the 371 is going to come in at about $36.99, and it is currently available in the burl wood here and the wood grain. Now on occasion they do come out with other variations of the 371. This one was prevalent in Walmart here about 3 or 4 years ago, and I actually went into one of my local Walmarts and they had 3 or 4 of them on markdown to like $14 a piece. They had them on clearance and they wanted to get rid of them, so I bought them all up, and I've sent them out to various people, and they enjoy getting these knives. Now, in looking closer at these, if we look at the clip blades here, you can see the swedge is slightly different on those two knives, and you can also see it has a more pronounced nail nick on the foreign made versus the USA, the 301. And if we look at some of the other blades, like the spade blade, they are very, very similar, but whoops, do this correctly. You can see here, this one goes downhill a little bit more, if you will. But they do use a hollow grind on both. And let's look at the sheep's foot. Again, much larger nail nick on the and that's the difference. Oh, I can't get it to focus here. So if I can hold it that way, you can see very similar, although the hollow grind goes much higher up on that one than it does on the 301. So again, this one is in burl wood. This is the 371, and I think they just did a fantastic job with this. I got one of their canoes with the burl wood, and I also got the equivalent of the 303. Was it the 373? I can't remember, but the medium size Stockman that's equal to the Cadet. They both have, both the US and the foreign made have the 3-spring construction. And this 301 here, this has the Dymolux rosewood. And this has Buck's standard saw cut Velox. This price here, again, this is MSRP off the Buck website, is $78.99, and this one goes for $74.99. Check out all your discount knife sites there. I'm sure you can save 15 or 20%. Now, as I've documented in several videos now, the Buck 301 has went through several different renditions and variations. They were started to be made by Schrade, and then they were contracted with Camillus, and then Buck started making them themselves. And originally they had the 2 springs, and then around 1990 they switched to 3 springs so that each blade has its own spring, which means the sheep's foot comes out the opposite end of the clip point. Most of your Stockmans, they have the clip point and the sheep's foot coming out the same end. Again, and I've talked about this too, that really sandwiches that blade in between there. Gives you a nice perpendicular there for when you're doing your draw cuts. So makes the knife much stronger. Again, here's the standard Velox. You can see you got ever so slight gapping there, and just a very minor stepping or gap right there. Now look at this one here. This one's much better here. This is the Dymilux Rosewood, and these are the only 2 models that's offered now on the Buck website, just these 2. I really like the Dymilux with the blue shield, the slanted brass bolsters, brass liners. Now, I will point out that, as far as I know, as far as on their website, the Chinese-made versions are covered by Buck's Forever warranty also. So you still got the excellent warranty no matter where it's made. Take a look at this one. We got just a slight amount of stepping right there in that middle spring. Other than that, the burl wood is done just beautifully. Nice transitions. Just a beautiful, beautiful knife. As far as I know, they just call this wood grain, and I think this is the first version they ever came out with. And I want to say it was the early 2000s when they first started having these made in China. But you can see there, pretty nice fit and finish. Again, the steel liners, stainless steel, nickel silver, 3 pins. All of these have 3 pins. This one has 2 pins, and that one just has the 1 pin showing. And then I think they did a wonderful job with this bone. I have one of the canoes with the jig bone. They're just beautiful, and it has been a workhorse. So, you know, it's your preference. It's the age-old argument. Do you buy a Chinese-made knife or do you not? Or, you know, folks, it's your money. You spend it where you want. But I will say that by having some of these made overseas or made in China specifically, it keeps the price point real low, and it keeps them in Walmart, and it allows Buck to make money. It keeps the company going so they can continue to work and put out these knives, and keeps their factory going. You know, Buck's #1 priority, I guess, for what they've always been known for is their fixed blade hunting knives. And so anything, you know, any profits that are made off of these to help subsidize that factory to keep it going here in the U.S., why, more power to them. They have to stay competitive. That is just reality. They have got to stay repetitive. Competitive, not repetitive. I've not used my 301 or 371s much. I can't tell you about durability or how well it holds an edge. I just know from the feedback I've gotten from a lot of viewers, they've had some of these Chinese-made Bucks, whether it's a 371 or some of the other models, and they all say that they do a wonderful job. And so for about half the price, you have this as an option. So until next time, have a very delightful day.